Hello and welcome to the Dumb Shits Guide to Logistics and Automation in ATM9. A lot of this stuff will be applicable to other mod packs, however I'm doing it for example in ATM9 because that's where this world is currently on. So let's start with what this video is going to be about. So we're going to be going over some ways to transmit items, move them from point A to point B, and how to automate them. So we'll start off with the different kinds of pipes you can get. So one is the Mekanism logistical cables. They're pretty cheap to get. Let's quickly pull open the recipe for those. Logistical, there we go. So the logistical cables only require steel, which is very easy to get, and basic control circuits, all available through the metallurgic infuser. Alternatively, we also have the pipes mod. So you have item pipes, fluid pipes, energy pipes, and the universal pipes. They all take items from point A to point B, and most of them can be configured using their respective mod's wrench. There's also the item conduits from Ender.io. These ones are, from what I understand, one of the better options because they're very lag friendly and they're also a lot more configurable. So if we grab chests, for example, we'll place a chest on either end. So instead of it being like a Mekanism cable where you have to get a configurator and you have to configure it to pull and push and yada yada yada, and you can't filter it, this one you can. So you can choose to set whether this one's insert or extract, you can choose the channel, the mode, the round robin, if it's round robin, so on and so forth. There's so many options you have with the Ender.io conduits. You can also use Ender.io for energy transfer, and I believe fluid? Let's have a look. Fluid. Yeah, so you have fluid conduits as well. So you have energy, item, and fluid conduits. So these are some of the options you have for just moving things from point A to point B. What if you want to sort them between point A and point B? So one option you have is the Mekanism logistical sorter. You slap it onto a inventory, and it's set to pull out of that inventory and into a given pipe. So, and then inside, you have a lot of different options. So you have round robin. So round robin basically means that instead of going to one chest until it's filled up, and then going to the next chest until it's filled up, it'll go in a cycle between all connected inventories. So we have 3 chests on round robin mode. Let's get rid of that. On round robin mode, it'll go that one, then 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 that one. Whereas in normal mode, it would go there until it's filled, to there, and it's filled, into there until it's filled. You also have a lot of options in terms of configuring filters. So another important thing is you can choose to either send the items via stack or by singles. Now you can also choose to filter by item type, tag, or mod ID. Tag is something like planks, for example, so it'll take any planks or any logs. Item stack is literally just you can only do a specific item, so you only want logistical cables to go through this filter, and you just place that in there, and it'll only filter those things. Let's get rid of that. Mod ID is anything from a specific mod. So for example, if you have a mining setup, so let's go at GregTech, and you've got a whole bunch of GregTech ores that you don't know what to do with, you literally just drag it in, and it will only filter stuff from GregTech Community Edition. So if you have a mining setup, it'll put all of the, you can set, for example, 2 of these. You can have one set to everything but GregTech, and then everything for GregTech. So GregTech will go this way, everything else will go that way. Another option in terms of moving things from point A to point B is the much more versatile XNet. XNet is an absolutely incredible mod. Let me see if I can find the controller for it. Where is it? Controller, there we go. You're also going to need network cables, which are these, and connectors. How XNet works is you have a central controller which creates a sort of network, as it will. So let's quickly go like this. Actually, we'll just make 2 of them. And then we have a connector on top of both of these, and we have a connector on top of the controller. And we connect these via network cables. You have to be crouched while doing this, otherwise it's not going to work. See? It's just going to... Oh, you can do it over normal cables, but you can't do it over connectors because it'll open up the GUI for them. And how XNet works is you can set channels to insert and extract pretty much anything. So we'll click on channel 1. We can choose between chemicals, energy, logic, storage, items, fluids, lots of different options. Let's start with energy. So how energy works is you pull from a energy source, which is set to a connector. Let's grab a creative energy cube, and we'll grab another ultimate energy cube. There's some gentlemen here in our base. We'll grab a universal cable. So let's quickly just set up something like this. So we want a creative, a universal cable. We're going to set a connector on here, a connector on there. Now we're also going to name these. So this one is universal because it's the universal cable. Hello, why are you staring at me? You also have our cube. So energy cube. Perfect. And I'm also just going to quickly power this because this needs to be set up with power. But before we do that, so this channel is set to energy. We want to create a slot on here. I'm going to set it to extract, and then we're going to set one here on insert. We're also going to set one on here for insert, so it will power itself. However, we do need to kickstart the power a little bit. So let's quickly just go like, get rid of that. We'll just go like this, get rid of that. Awesome. So now, as you can see, it's filling itself up, despite the fact we had already broken the cable, because it's pulling the energy out of here into here and also putting into there. So as you can see, it's slowly filling up because what XNet is doing is it's pulling from this extract channel and putting it into this insert channel. Now let's say you want to pull between one chest and put it into the other. So we're going to create a new channel. We're going to set it to item, create, and then you can choose to either do it in priority or round robin. Round robin will go between whatever connected inventories in a random order, or you can set priorities of which inventories will be filled first. We're going to set it to priority for now because it doesn't really matter. Now we're going to set this connector to be our insert. I misspelled that. And this one's going to be our output. So now we're going to go into here. We're going to do our items channel, and we're going to go, okay, we want to extract from our insert chest. So we're going to extract from here, and we're going to create and insert here. You also have a few other options. You can set the priority, the maximum amount of a given item you want in the destination inventory. You can also configure it to blacklist certain items. You can configure tag matching, metadata matching, NBT matching, and whatever this is. I don't actually know what this means. So for example, we've got this set up. So insert and output. If we place an item here, do we have any items on us? We do not. Okay, let's grab some oak logs, place them in. As you can see, they're being pulled out and being placed in here. We can also set it to do it via stacks. And you can also change the amount of ticks per operation. So that's how fast it's doing it, how many ticks per insert and extract. This can be made even shorter using the advanced connectors. So we put a connector here, an advanced one, a connector here, and a connector here, and we connect them via a network cable. And now, if we create, if we set this one to extract, we can choose to go as low as 5 ticks per operation. There's also a few different options in terms of like different priorities and settings and whatnot. But for the most general use cases, you're going to be just using the extract and insert. You can also choose to only put certain items in. So we're going to want to go like this. So we're going to set this one will only extract these 2 items. I'm going to set up another chest here. So quickly do that. Oops. And a network cable. So we're going to extract these 2 items from here. Now this one, we're going to create an insert for this one. And we're going to create an insert for this one. So now if we dump all these items in, I'm going to quickly, and you can see how fast it's going because it's the stack speed. We're also going to set it to stack. And now those are being placed in there, and these are being placed in here. Now let's say you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items that you need to filter through the system, and you only want to insert, so you want to insert everything but these hollow logs into this chest. Basically on this one, you would set it, instead of being oak logs, like it currently is, so we want to insert everything but the hollow oak logs into this middle chest here. So this middle chest, we're going to delete that one. We're going to set the filter to hollow oak logs, and we're going to enable blacklisting mode. So now it'll insert everything except for these. And that's how XNet works. You can also do this with fluids, energy, and whatnot. Another very powerful tool is the RF tools crafters. These things are the absolute godsend of RF tools. You have 3 different options: the crafter tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Basically affects how many slots they have available. So this one can only handle 2 recipes. This one can handle 4, and this one can handle 8. How they work is you set a recipe inside of this filter here. So it's like this. Actually, we'll go oak planks. So we're going to we're going to double click on this one. We're going to set a recipe, and we're going to click apply. And now we're going to place this in here, and we're also going to click R. So that means that oak planks will always go into this slot first. You don't have to do this, but it's very helpful. You can also choose to either set it to use all items in the system. So when a recipe it's making these sticks, it'll use up all of our oak planks, or you can set it to keep. We'll always keep 1 oak planks in here. You can also set where it goes after it's finished being crafted. So you can either set it to go into the external buffer, which is here. You can set it to go into the internal buffer, which is here. Or you can set it to external C. This will basically put everything needed, or the result of the recipe into the output, but will keep any remaining items. This is very useful for Inferium. So if we have a look in here, what is it? Insanium Essence, I believe it is. So you want to craft up a whole bunch of Insanium Essence, but you have this Master Infusion Crystal, and you don't want it to be going into the output every single time. Basically, you do is you set it to XC, and this will basically make it so that the Insanium that's produced will go into here, but the Infusion Crystal will stay in here. This also works for something like buckets, for example. So let's quickly give this some power. Let's grab our Creative Energy cube from earlier and slap it on. So now if we have a look in here, it's crafted them all into sticks. Let's grab some more planks. So let's quickly go like this. As you can see, it crafts very, very quickly. And then you can use mods like XNet to pull from this and insert into another machine. You can also have multiple stages of a crafting process in here. So that's what I like to do for Inferium. I wonder if I have an example of it over here. I don't think I do. No, it doesn't look like I do. Maybe it's over here, actually. Is this the one for... No, it's not. Okay, so for example, you have Inferium, and you've got a whole bunch of Inferium coming in. So you set the one recipe to be the Inferium to Prudentium. Where is it? You need Inferium to craft Prudentium, don't you? Am I going insane? Where's the recipe? Ah, there we go. So Inferium to Prudentium. So you set a recipe for that, X to C, so the infusion crystal goes back in, and then you have one for Prudentium to Tertium. Keep it on XC. Then you have Tertium to Imperium. Keep it on XC. You get where I'm coming from. So on and so forth. So all you have to do is feed Inferium into one crafter, this one here, and then it will automatically craft it all the way up to Insanium. And then you can pull out just the Insanium, which you can set to XC. So that's it's extremely useful. In terms of early game storage management, in terms of this mod pack, there's a few options you can have for the early game. So one option is refined storage. I've never used refined storage, but I have heard it's very, very easy to use. It's basically AE2, but easy. So that's one option. A little bit earlier than that, you can get one of these. I think it's called a draw controller, I believe. No, it's called a storage controller. I keep forgetting that this mod pack has a different name for it. So a storage controller, how it works, is you attach multiple drawers to it. So you have all these drawers, and then you have, for example, a logistical cable going into the back of it. And we're going to set that to here. And then you have two configuration tools. So I believe it's these two, yes. So we want to only put, let's grab some of this as well. So you only want to put, Actually, I'm also going to grab this. There we go. So we only want to put these things into our drawers. Like that. So we're going to set the configuration tool. We're going to set it to... Where is it? Locking. So we shift right click to switch to locking. And we lock each of these drawers. And then we're going to set a linking tool. We're going to click on this one. And we're actually going to quickly set it to... like this. So we're going to sneak right click and click on the air to switch the mode to multiple. We're going to click on this one, and then click on this one. And it's going to link all 4 of these drawers to this controller. So let's grab, oops. We just want one. Can I take the item out? Hold on, let's quickly grab a stack of it. We'll quickly chuck that in there. And then, so when we place the items into this chest, which we're going to need a configurator for. Configurator. And we're going to set it to pull from this one. And when we put those birch logs into here, they're going to go into the controller and they're going to go straight into the respective drawer. However, if we place something like oak planks in here, they're not going to go in because we don't have anywhere to put them in. You also have something very useful, the RF Tools storage scanner. This will scan any connecting inventories in a radius around it. It is a very buggy machine, and it's got a lot of... The UI is not amazing in my opinion. We want this one, and we want that. So we're going to hook that up to power, and inside you can have a look. So you can configure a whole bunch of stuff in here of like what connecting inventories you want to be displaying in here. So we're going to set the radius to max. As you can see, we have all of these items. I'm going to set all of them to... You probably don't want to set all of these because obviously there's stuff like the energy cube, but that's besides the point for right now. We're just going to use this as an example. And then you can see all the items in our storage in this area. So you can see all of the oak logs from over there. You can see all the stuff in our drawer network, and you can pull these items out. As you can see, pull the chests out, put them back in. Pull the planks out, put them back in. This is a poor man's ME system. This is one of the most useful tools in the early game. I personally don't use it just because I find the UI to be rather obnoxious to use. But you can also use it for auto crafting and stuff like that as well. It's very useful. By the looks of things, you can even set up the crafters in this as well, which is pretty interesting. Oh, actually, what it seems like it is let's quickly grab some of that. And we're going to store... How do I put it back in? Ah, so you place it in there. Awesome. So we're going to store that recipe. So every time we want to craft sticks, I believe we can just craft one. Oh, that's very interesting. I've never seen this before. So you can craft 4, craft 8, craft a stack. That's a sort of easy way to sort of auto craft in the earlier game. So the RF Tools storage scanner is very, very, very useful. Now you've got this whole setup in terms of automation. Let's talk about our next big thing, which is you've gotten a little bit further in the game and you're getting into AE2. Now, if you want more explanation on AE2, I have 3 dumb shits guides already up explaining auto crafting and basically how to set it up and all that jazz. And then also some like more technical networking stuff like P2P tunnels. But in terms of automation, we're going to cover a few things here. So we're going to cover the export bus, the import bus, where is it? The storage bus, and something very useful that I've only discovered recently, which is the level emitter. Now, if you've watched my episode that's going to be coming out, actually probably come out after this video, on automating extreme reactors in my All the Mods 9 playthrough, you'll know that I use these a lot in that build. How the level emitter works is we have let's grab a smart cable. Now, in this example, I'm not going to have it hooked up to my main network just because it's all the way over there. But if we have a look here, so you have a export bus set to this cable. How an export bus works is it will export anything off of a given network into a connected inventory. So you want to set only oak planks from your ME system to go into this chest for any given reason. Maybe it's not even just for like into a chest. Maybe it's for a machine. Maybe you want to make crushed fluorite, for example. So you want to place all your fluorite into a crusher from Mekanism. Let's just wait for this lag spike to go away. Now that works. This game is very laggy. So basically, yes, the export bus can be used to place items into a connected inventory. Now, the import bus does the opposite. Let's actually place that like that. So the import bus, what it does is it will take items. Actually, that's just going to bother me. I'm going to do a little bit of an aesthetic change here, and we're just going to quickly chuck you there. Awesome. So an import bus does the opposite. So it'll pull anything from a connected inventory and place it into your ME system. That one's pretty self-explanatory. You can also set it with a filter in here, and you can also set it with acceleration cards, which will make it faster. And then you have the storage bus. The storage bus is extremely useful, and I covered it in my AE2 Dumb Shits guide, but it basically makes a inventory a part of your storage, essentially. So basically how it works is when you attach it to a storage, like, for example, a chest or a storage controller, it doesn't work with a storage scanner, unfortunately, as much as I would love it to. But when you attach it to a chest or a controller or a drawer, then it will make it part of that system. So it'll show up in your ME network, in your ME terminal, and you can pull and push from it. That is extremely useful, and you can also use it to store a specific item. So let's say you want fluid storage. So we're going to get a ultimate fluid tank. This is something I also do in my current survival playthrough. So you want all of your, let's just say, rosinite from extreme reactors. You want all your rosinite to be stored in this one fluid tank. So you're going to go rosinite, and you're just going to drag it into there, and it'll store it in there. It'll only store it because that's the only thing that's filtered. And then you can set this to either only insert or insert and extract. It's very, very useful. Now the level emitter is where things come in very useful. So inside the level emitter, you can set, for example, let's use rosinite again. So this can hold 256 buckets of rosinite. So let's say that this, rosinite's probably a bad example, but let's just say in this hypothetical universe, you needed to put redstone into a fluidizer to create rosinite. That's not actually how the recipe is, but let's use it as an example. So you need to put redstone in a fluidizer to create rosinite. But the thing is, you don't want it to keep producing more rosinite and going through your redstone supply if this is already full. So what you do is you set it in here, you set it to rosinite, you set it to 256 buckets, because that's the storage capacity of this tank, and then you're going to set it to, you're going to set it to like that. And then what you're going to do is you can either have it on redstone mode, emit when levels are above or equal to, or emit when levels are below the limit. We're going to keep it like this. We're going to grab a redstone card now. Redstone card. One of these from AE2. We're going to place it inside this export bus. And what we'll have it set as is active without signal. So when this reaches 256, then it's going to turn on. That will disable this ME export bus because it's only active when it doesn't have a signal. So once it gets a signal, it's going to stop working. And that means it's not going to put any more items into it. The moment we use some of this is going to turn off, this is going to turn back on and place the items back in. It's extremely useful for automation. These are some of the more core fundamental features. There's also other mods that allow for logistics and automation. A good one that I do not personally have a very good understanding of is Laser.io. Laser.io. This one's apparently very good for moving items and energy and whatnot. Another really good one I've heard good things about is integrated dynamics. Integrated dynamics is a weird one because it doesn't look like it would be as complicated as it is, but the amount of versatility integrated dynamics has is absolutely off the wall. There's a lot of very interesting stuff you can do with it. I won't explain it in this video because I don't have a good enough understanding of how integrated dynamics works, but there's a lot of very specific types of automation that can only be done using integrated dynamics. Another really good one that I can show you is modular routers. Modular routers are one of the best and one of the most powerful mods in this pack. And I'm not even kidding. So let's grab a modular router. modular router. No, not modular, modular router. So a modular router, how it works is basically you set it up with cards inside of it, basically, or modules. So let's grab a puller module and a sender module. Sender module. I'm going to grab two chests. Actually, we'll go like this. So we're going to get rid of one of these. We're going to go like this and like this. And then we're going to grab our puller module. I'm going to click on this. So we're going to sneak right click on this one and then sneak right click on this one with the sender module. And we're going to place these in. Let's grab a stack of grass blocks. The modular router is going to pull wirelessly out of this chest and place it in this one. This can be sped up using speed and stack upgrades. Modular routers are super overpowered because with max speed and stack upgrades, they are ridiculously fast and they all require 0 power. That's the best thing about this. And each of these cards is configurable. So this one's just pulling into the buffer for right now. But you can choose to set a blacklist or a whitelist for certain items. Any items in here you can set to blacklist or whitelist. You can set it to ignore NBT or match NBT. You can match item damage, match tagging, so on and so forth. And for example, if we want to do like this, for example, so we want to go into all 3 of these, or actually let's say we want 3 different items in all 3 of these different chests. So we'll go like this, and like this. So we're going to set one sender module to go into here. Let's actually take this dirt out because we don't want this for the example anymore. So we want to set the first one to go into there, the second one to go into here, and the third one to go into here, as you can see. We want this one to be getting birch planks, so we'll set it to whitelist. We want this one getting birch wood, set it to whitelist. We want this one getting vertical spruce planks, set it to whitelist. Place these all in, and we're actually going to set some speed and stack upgrades in there, so it's a bit faster. Upgrade and stack upgrade. Perfect. And we're going to place those in there. And we're going to place all these items in. And do you see how fast those all went out? And now they've been sorted into their respective inventories. This is super, super powerful, especially with the power of the blacklist. If you've watched my AE2 Dumb Shits Guide Part 3, I show a modular router setup that allows you to completely automate the infusion crafting for seeds from mystical agriculture. Basically how it works is let's just grab the infusion altar and pedestal. I won't set up the whole thing now because I already did it in that video, but let's find a good spot for this actually. Let's get rid of this. Oops. So let's say you have your infusion altar. All these pedestals on it. And then you have 2 modular routers above it. Like so. Now, you have an ME system, let's say. So you have your chest here and your pattern provider on top. This is something very important that I need to mention as well. For stuff like this, a great automation tool is the lock until primary crafting result is returned. This will stop if you have a system like this, where if we put a whole bunch of if you put everything needed for all 5, so let's word this better. So you want to craft 5 lots of diamond seeds. If you put in without that, then basically it's going to put 20 of the, I think it's Insanium Essence, or maybe it's Supremium. It's going to put 20 diamonds, 4 prosperity seeds, and then it's just going to place, the system's just going to place them all in random spots around it. It's not going to work. So if you set it to lock into primary crafting results returned, it's only going to put the stuff needed for 1, it's going to go into the respective things, and it's going to be pulled out, placed back into the modular router, and then, not modular router, into the pattern provider, and then it'll start the next recipe. But let's say you wanted to automate infusion crafting. So one of them you'd have set to have a puller module pulling from this chest, and a sender module sending prosperity seeds into this. And then a puller module with a prosperity seed blacklist on this one, so it'll pull out everything that's not prosperity seeds, and a sender module that'll send it back into the pattern provider. For these ones, you'd have a puller module that pulls everything except prosperity seeds, and a sender module for each of these. So you'd need, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total. 8 sender modules set to each of these. So what will happen is everything but prosperity seeds will be pulled from here and placed into these respective slots. Everything prosperity seed will be pulled from here and placed here. At the end, the prosperity, everything but the prosperity seed will be pulled from here and inserted into here. It's an extremely, extremely powerful tool, and there's more than it does. There's something like the, what's the module called? Let me quickly try and find it. There's so many modules. There's something like the breaker module, which will break any block in front of it. There's the activator module, which will activate any block in front of it. There's stuff like the dropper module, which will drop items. The distributor module, which can be used to distribute items in round robin. There's a placer module that places blocks. There's a player module that can simulate player activities. It is extremely versatile to the point where it's considered overpowered by a lot of people. Modular routers is one of the best automation tools of this mod pack. Modular routers, XNet, and laser IO, and even AE2. AE2 is also powerful, and also sophisticated storage. Functional storage, and even RF tools. In fact, all of these are such valuable tools for automation. You can get so much done with all these mods. And at the end of the day, and one important thing that has to be mentioned though is lag. So I do not recommend using pipes. I also try to avoid using universal cables because they are quite lag heavy. Something like these crafters, if you're using hundreds and hundreds of them, they're also quite laggy. Modular routers can be laggy on large scales. Stuff like even AE2 is very free of lag, however. Laser IO, I've also heard, is very lag free. XNet is one of the best options for automation with little to no latency, because, and that's what makes it very interesting, is something like logistical cables, for example. You can see the items moving. The universal cable has a light value that has to be updated as energy is flowing through the pipes. Something like XNet is just a connector. It's just a cable. That's all it is to it. And it's just updating, it's decreasing the amount of items in one storage and increasing them in the other. So it's very, very lag friendly for that reason, because you don't see anything moving around. It works all by these cables, and nothing's happening inside the cables. They're just visualizations of what's happening. But anyway, that's some of the options you have for automation in All the Mods 9. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. What the fuck is... what the... Oh. Wink wink.